Hey guys, it's Stephen here, and today I'll be talking about some fragrances which were sent to me by a fellow YouTube reviewer. He operates a channel called Toiletarian, and his name is Naz. So he bought a fragrance off me on eBay, and I recognised who he was, and we got talking back and forth. And he very kindly sent me these two fragrances for my thoughts upon them. So he blends these himself using natural ingredients. He's told me that there's no synthetic notes in here, and he sells these on eBay. So I think you're looking at, I don't know the prices exactly, but I think £20 will give you about 15 to 20 mils of a fragrance. And from wearing these, I've tried these both twice now, separately from the first time that I tried them, which is just a brief testing. And they're really good. They represent amazing value for money. They are very, very strong, and you can tell the quality of the notes in here are very high. So what I'll do is I'll actually edit in my first impressions, and then I'll post the follow-up, and then I'll follow up with what I think further on. The video I filmed was quite blurry, unfortunately, but it's not too bad. So I'll first talk about the Persian Garden. So yeah, these are very oily. I believe they are extract concentrations, so I think that's maybe 25% concentration and above. Oh, wow, that's... I'm going to try not to smell it too close, because I know that's not like how a fragrance actually smells. When I go for a walk, I'll try and get a better sense of it. But this is very floral. There's definite oak moss, and it gives you a very soapy accord. If I can draw comparisons, it's probably something like It's something like Van Cleef & Arpels Pour Homme, which is a rosy, very clean, soapy smell. So yeah, with this is definitely very soapy, which I believe is oak moss, because I have fragrances with oak moss which give it that vibe. I have to say my nose is not very good. I'm just rubbish at picking up notes, but there's a floral undertone to this, but I couldn't tell you what's in there. Naz did send me the list of notes, but for the purposes of these impressions, I read them 4 days ago, so I can't remember what's in them exactly. This is getting sort of richer now and stronger, but to be honest, I'm not going to give a good impression by doing this, so I'll come back to this one. Ooh. I think I've said before, but I have many quality natural oils, so kind of essential oils as well as ouds and attars. And again, attars composed of natural fragrances, so I am quite used to smelling natural things. And I must say as well, yes, this is really beautiful, the garden one. There's no kind of obvious, to me, I don't think there's synthetics in there because it's very smooth. It's really well blended. So yeah, this Persian Garden is an oak moss bomb. When I've worn it, I'm not sure. There's quite a lot of notes in here. I don't have them at hand, but I have read the notes list that Naz sent me. And there's a lot of florals and a bit of citric notes. But to be honest, when I wear it, it's just the oak moss is just dominating the scent. There's not much that I can pick up. I can tell there's florals in here, but I can't actually identify them. I believe, for example, gardenia is used. Not sure how you pronounce it, and I'm not sure. There's a kind of a subtleness of florals, but it's hard to pinpoint. It's just I find the oak moss is dominating. The oak moss, like I said in my first impression, it gives it very clean and soapy, and this just persists all the way through it. The scent isn't a beast in the sense of the projection. It does die down quite quickly after an hour. It does start off strong, but does quite quickly diminish. However, the longevity is really good. When I've worn it, I've had 10 to 12 hours, and that's on skin as well. One thing I note is on both these on clothes are ridiculous. The longevity on clothing is just, it can survive a wash in the wash machine with kind of fabric softener and detergent. Yeah, they are really strong. Just from holding the bottle there, I can smell it on my hand now. Very oak mossy. Personally, this scent isn't really for me. The type of thing it's going for doesn't really To me, it's not really complex enough that I'd want to wear it. It's quite straightforward and quite linear in the sense that there's not much progression and it remains kind of, it doesn't actually change very much to my nose. Yeah, it gives you a very kind of vintage feeling, old school kind of soapy cologne kind of thing. I think this would work well layered because of its kind of unchanging nature. I believe this would work well to be kind of sprayed below or on top of another scent because of the high quality materials and actually oak moss. I'm not sure if yeah, it must be actually oak moss used in here because it smells very similar and to what I know from oak moss from vintage fragrances. So this could help. Basically, it could work as a fixative, in my opinion, below another scent. So this is Persian Assassin, and this is a much darker scent compared to this one. It's much more complex, richer, deeper, and nuanced. So here's my first impressions of this. So the Assassin one. Oh god. So that first spray has really yeah, it's very oily. Oh wow, there's a very spiciness to it. I was gonna say it feels like a booziness almost. Yeah, there's a real sharpness to there where, yeah, it's comparable to alcohol in some sense. Oh, now it's gone a bit chocolatey. Wow, this is quite interesting. I'm not actually picking up vetiver now that I sprayed it on, but there's a very dark chocolatey which I get generally from things like Bangladeshi ouds and some Indian ouds. I'm not sure if there's oud in here, but wow, it's a very rugged brown smelling. I mean, look at the color of this. When you compare the color of the two juices, then I think the color of this lends itself to the smell very well. It's wow, yeah, it smells brown in nature. And again, this is extremely smooth. It's easy to smell. Like there's no harshness to it. So very well blended. So yeah, I'm kind of convinced there's patchouli in here and vetiver. Yeah, there's more patchouli. I think I was confusing patchouli for vetiver in my first impressions. But yeah, there's a very earthy, pungent, dark green kind of patchouli going on here. There's a bit of spiciness. It kind of feels like a bit of cinnamon or something. There's a warmth to it as well. When I was actually wearing this yesterday, I did plan to film this video yesterday, but I'm just lazy. I was getting wafts of this, and I was convinced I could smell Dio Homme Parfum. I'm pretty sure there's not notes of leather in here, but it has this like chocolatey, maybe a bit of rose in here as well. But there was just like a connection in my mind that I was smelling Dio Homme Parfum. It probably didn't help that I was wearing Dio Homme Parfum like a day and a half before, but I've showered several times since and I was wearing different clothing, so there was no chance of overlap scents here. But there was just this quality reminiscence of Dio Homme Parfum. This again is extremely long lasting. It does develop and change, so you're not gonna, the fragrance is different in its base as opposed to when it starts off. It's very chocolatey and a very luxuriously smooth fragrance. I really do enjoy this. The longevity is off the chain. It's like 14 hours on skin. On clothing, when I first tried this on the first impressions, I'd sprayed some on my hand, and then I went for a walk. It was evening time, so it was a bit cold, and I put a hoodie on, and basically the hoodie sleeve came in contact with my hand as I put it on, and for the next many days, then I didn't wash that hoodie for a while. Honestly, it would interrupt with whatever scent I was wearing for that day because, like, I normally spray the back of my hands with my scent of the day, but if I was to wear that hoodie, then the scent of this would basically mix in with whatever scent I was wearing on that day. So it just kind of lasts on clothing for ages and it just rubs off onto other stuff. So that's something to be kind of aware of because there are not many scents that do this. These are both really oily due to the high concentration of the fragrance oils in here. NARS did say that they are extracts, so I think that's like 30% plus. And yeah, I have to say, for the value for money, these are really good. These are interesting scents. There are others that he sells, but I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head. But I would recommend checking these out. I think it may be cool if NARS could offer samples, because I know it's £20, it's not much money, but perhaps people won't want to try that. Perhaps people won't want to spend that much money for a smaller amount. So if he could provide maybe 2 ml samples, he could be able to engage his customer base a bit more with that. But I think this brand is in a really good direction. From trying these two fragrances out, I believe high quality ingredients have been used, and the proof's in the pudding. Basically, they smell great. And yes, NARS is a friend of mine, but if anybody's watched any fragrance reviews of things that have been sent to me, you'll know that I'm completely honest. Regardless of whether people send it to me, I'm not going to say that it's good if it's not, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm just putting that out there because people I know are quick to fly off and judge people and say, "Oh, you're not kind of being fair in this appraisal." But I believe that I am. So guys, that was it. Thank you very much. And again, if Naz is watching this, thanks for sending me these. And until my next video, I'll see you then.